que se cae penoguan nanas como hey 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 oh hey oh hey
The Tribal Water Resource Department is currently working on a collaborative effort in protecting the tribe's cultural resource sites on a reservation. We have been working with the Tribal Historic Preservation Office as well as the tribal archaeologists in identifying several sites on the reservation that need immediate protection to ensure that these sites will be available for future generations.
As the archaeologists working with the Cultural Resource Preservation Department, we identify sites through the advice of elders, and secondly is through recording places that may be affected by development.
We've been working with Mr. Alvin Windyboy, Bob O'Boyle, and Jay Eagleman on getting these sites listed as traditional cultural properties, which would give them more protection.
When sites are found, they're evaluated under different criteria. Criteria A, we look at a site and say, is this associated with ongoing traditions that are significant to the Chippewa Cree people? Criteria B is looking at a place to see if it's associated with a significant person. Criteria C is evaluating a place based on, is this a work of a master? The final criteria, we look at a site and say, does this particular place have the potential to yield information about the past?
Ultimately, what the tribe is trying to do is inventory them, learn more about them, and actually make this information available for the upcoming youth who are ultimately going to be tasked with not only protecting these areas, but preserving the knowledge associated with these areas for future generations.
The Natu Spring site is a great example of a site that's significant under multiple criteria.
My name is Merle Belcourt. I grew up in a Parker Canyon area on the Rocky Boys Reservation. And I thank you for inviting me to say a few words concerning the Natu Spring. It's a strong and ceremonial site used by the medicine man Natus. What I tell you of the Natu Spring is what was told to me by my grandmother and mother when I was a very young boy. One story concerned my older sister. Natus actually prevented her from going blind. When they were kids, she got poked in the eye with a hot poker, they called them, for stirring up ashes in wood-burning stoves. And that's who my grandma had called, was Natus, to see what he could do for her. And the way it was told to me, he did dive into that spring. He used mud from that spring, and otherwise, I think my sister would have been blind, but today she's an elderly lady, and he did prevent her from going blind using mud out of that spring. There's many stories that have not been told. You're hearing just a little bit of what I heard when I was a very young boy. And there's no doubt in my mind that the Indian people have had used medicines and different healing remedies for years and years that are not recorded. I think it's got to be protected. Our water has got to be protected.
yeah hey yeah yeah